Damn, my arm is killing me. All morning it's been throbbing.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Welcome to Lockpot, everybody.
You've been on the road a lot.
I know.
What have you been doing? The driving?
I think I like extra contorted it this morning when I was pounding myself on the back. I was just patting myself all morning because sort of a political Svengali. Svengali.
It all works.
You know what I'm talking about. Like the magician, the one that like...
The fortune teller.
The
crystal ball.
Fortune teller.
I look into the crystal ball and I let you know what's about to happen politically.
And this goes back to October. This goes back to October of last year. Thank you, John.
Spooky.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lockpod.
Yeah, man.
This is why we're Belgium's top-rated podcast.
Season 5, Episode 4.
What'd you predict?
What did you predict?
Quattro.
I'm going to take you back in time, young lady.
We need the time machine music.
Yeah, we're going to talk about October 2021. Long time ago.
October 26, 2021.
When the maps for the Indiana congressional districts came out. And then we looked at the first congressional district, and to the untrained eye, I'm still pounding myself in the back.
I can see you're still
No,
your back
not
is
at all.
really hurting now.
Dude,
He's not just patting, he's pounding.
He's pounding his back.
So to the typical observer, they look at the first congressional
I
district.
like untrained eye.
To the untrained eye, you look at the first congressional district and you say, it's the same district. But I knew the first congressional district pretty well. I ran in it.
Yep. And there were those that said, they didn't really mess with the district much.
Thank you for not messing with the
Right,
district.
right,
There was
right.
a lot of compliments, right?
Sure.
I had a different type of eye, though. I'm like eagle-like eye. And
I love this.
Eagle-like
I
owl.
love this self-aggrandizement.
Well, I mean, this is my morning, so just play along.
You're like, Tom's like, I've been doing this for hours.
Dude, this is my morning. It's like, play along, okay? That's not very often like this.
Well,
Woke the
about
house
this
up.
since, like,
Marissa,
5
Patrick.
Dude, I was like running around with the newspaper this morning.
Christmas morning.
This is an incredible story.
So I say, the district is different, Kevin. And we were like, yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, they added the city of LaPorte to the first congressional district. And now, like, this is a very small change. We're talking like 1% difference between the last district and this one.
I agree with that. It is extremely small.
So I'm of the opinion that nothing in politics happens happenstance. There's a reason behind everything. And I'm like, why did they change it? Why did they change it from the old district to the new district? Just one little boundary.
And
Nothing
this is
else
northwest corner of Indiana, folks.
Right. So I start looking. Who do I know that lives in this area? City of LaPorte. I'm like, interesting. They brought the city of LaPorte into the first congressional district. It used to be in the second. Why would they do such a thing? Then I start thinking about the people I know in LaPorte. One of the young ladies I know that lives in LaPorte is a former mayor, worked for the governor. She's been like out.
Recently resigned from that post.
She resigned from the governor's cabinet. She's been campaigning. And I made a bold prediction. I came on Lockpod and I said, I'm making a prediction. This is months ago.
October 26, 2021. Go back and listen to the episode.
I said Blair Milo is running for Congress against frank-Mcdermott-jr. And everybody was throwing like tomatoes at me. Poo-pooed. Like widely poo-pooed, ridiculed, laughed at.
I don't know if it was that bad.
It was bad.
Interesting.
It was bad.
I think some were like, that's interesting.
Yeah. And
After you pointed it out.
And then a couple months later, the Republican National Campaign Committee
Congressional Committee, yeah.
comes out and says this is a target district, the first congressional.
Interesting.
Which also, like, I was thinking to myself, this is all
They
falling
don't
into...
say that unless they think they've got a candidate.
That's right.
And that was right after the Virginia election.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, I'm still like locked in on this pick. I'm the only one that's talking about it. I mean, I haven't read anything about in the paper.
Because historically, this is known as like a plus 20 D district.
Right. And I talked about it. I said, I think Blair Milo is running. I'll be honest with you, though. And then filing opens, and I'm like, son of a gun. I don't know if I'm right on this. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking literally yesterday, I was thinking, if she doesn't file soon, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And
Where's that music again, John?
He actually texted me to get ready to erase that podcast.
We brought it back from the dead. But Blair Milo, this morning's newspaper, Front Page Times, announces she's running against frank-Mcdermott-jr. in the first congressional district. She's confident. And she's cocky, and she thinks she's going to win.
Yes.
And I'm proud of myself for spotting this. By the way,
I've been kind of screwing with you here a little bit today, but I am very impressed with that pick.
That's psychic.
That was a smart political pickup. That was a very smart
more people should
observation.
Listen to me, damn it. There's more people should be listening to
on your behalf. That was a really good one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good job. Now
I'm glad it was on tape because usually we were just talking to each other. Right?
you're like, remember when I said? I don't know, man. I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember it that way, But I was on tape.
So looking at the race, what's your?
She's gonna work hard. She'll win the primary. Frank will win the primary, of course. Mm-hmm. And then these two will run against each other in November 22, and Frank is gonna dismantle her. He's going to dismantle her.
Dismantle?
Mm-hmm.
Dis-
It's going to be 2-1. Frank
She's
Murvan's
not
going to
gonna. Oh,
win.
you mean
2-1.
decimate?
All
Do
right.
you mean decimate? Cause
He's going to dismantle that campaign.
Oh.
He's going to. Frank will beat her 2-1 in November
he's
of 22.
incumbent,
And by
so
the way,
it's not-
like she's a great candidate. She's a nice person. I'm Facebook friends with her for now.
She just defriended you.
But what I'm saying is, I like Blair, but what Blair is trying to do in the first congressional district resembles what I'm trying to do in the state of Indiana right now. And I think she knows full well going into this that she could possibly lose. Okay, and just like I know full well going into a race against a sitting U.S. senator in a state that leans red, I know that
People are saying like,
I have no chance.
Yeah.
They're saying that. And with Blair, they're going to say the same thing. And I'm not trying to pile on her. But there was a couple things in today's story that made me shake my head. Doesn't sound
agree.
like the Blair Milo I know. They asked her.
like it's like, here's some Republican talking points.
Yeah.
I love what I read, man.
Yeah, I know. But like, you have to understand, part of the reason people like Blair Milo, part of the reason I liked her as mayor of LaPorte was because she was rational and moderate.
Yeah,
And like,
she didn't buy into like the crazy stuff down in Indianapolis.
she's patriotic.
Yeah.
She's a lot like Destiny, who's coming in as our guest today. Destiny, which is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Destiny
Top
Scott
of the
Wells.
hour. Listen up.
Yeah, but Blair Milo was talking about she's vaccinated, which is great. She's boosted. So there you go, John. Vaccinated and boosted and proud of it, and I appreciate that coming from leaders. I
We're
think
not
that's-
all perfect,
So, but also Blair Milo bought into the election bullshit, saying that she doesn't believe that that the president of the United States won the election.
She doubts that they were the
Such
results were
bullshit,
valid.
man. And it really I look at her
From a
differently.
veteran too, by the way.
I tell you, and she knows better. Blair's a smart lady. She knows better. She's patriotic, and she's sowing seeds of doubt into democracy.
It's like
and
she
I
talked
think
to Todd Rokita for 5 minutes
Yeah.
or something, and he
She's
told her,
like, she's
say
trying
this,
to-
say this. This will get everybody riled up.
that's right, and that sucks. I mean, that tells me a lot about her, unfortunately. And I think that when she keeps talking that trash like she is, that she's going to lose the people that always respected her.
Well, I
like,
think
like
you-
myself. She's losing, by the way. She already lost me, but what I'm saying is, the more she talks about sowing seeds of distrust into democracy, the less of a leader she becomes.
But I think you've said this a million times. When you run for office, you got to be yourself.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, she's not. It's immediate. She's not being herself.
Yeah, she's being fake. She's being like
doing the
Todd
talking
Rokita.
points.
She's
Yeah.
being Todd Rokita, and you may get more votes being Todd Rokita, but you're not going to beat Frank Mrvan. Hate to say it, Blair. You're not going to beat Frank, and all you're doing is messing up democracy by sowing seeds of doubt into the results of an election. Just take it.
How's
take
her,
it.
how's
You
her
guys
website
lost.
looking, John?
You know what I know? So I was reading through this, and I'm the only person in this room apparently who was just so impressed with this article. But so I saw her official press release right down here, and at the bottom it's blairforindiana.com. I thought, let me check this out. Being a digital part of campaigns in the
Republican.
Of
past,
the world?
so I go to blairforindiana.com. I'm not spelling this wrong, right? It says
No.
No,
it's
that's
just
right.
it's nothing. It just says it's parked free, courtesy of GoDaddy.
I'm going to get
So
that
it
one. Hey,
doesn't
can we get that
exist.
real quick?
It doesn't appear to be for
Available?
sale. I think she reserved it, or their team.
Dude,
So,
it's
They
Blair-
haven't gotten the
$100.
website yet.
Blair, I'm going to reach out. I've got some
Dude,
experience.
if you do, like, we're gonna have a vacancy in the podcast, and that'll cause problems.
I
don't know,
feel a
dude.
calling.
Well,
Yeah.
interesting, by the way. Just good call.
Thank you.
So, all right.
By the way, Frank's gonna beat her handily.
Get the vote out, and he should do it.
John, she's a great candidate. Okay,
It's a real race this time.
Oh man, this is a real race. I'm not saying that I think Blair is the most qualified candidate in the Republican side to run for this office in the last 3
couldn't even tell
decades.
you.
I
Yeah,
think she's
for
going to
sure.
raise a ton of money.
She'll do well.
And if the RCC's coming in, they're going to put a lot of money into it. But that's good for Frank because
Yeah.
then the DCCC will come in. Too.
By the way, I hate to be selfish. That's
Yeah,
good for me too.
I agree.
I mean,
gonna get the vote out.
The region is going to show up to reelect Frank Mrvan, and we're going to vote in full numbers in November. And we don't do that often, guys.
right.
I hate to break it to you across the state. Todd-Young, if you had anything to do with this, you fucked up, man, big time. Seriously, like you're going to
We
fire
haven't
up
heard
the
that
region.
word in this.
You're going
podcast
to
in
fire
a
up the
while.
region, Todd. What you did, or whoever did this, they fired up Northwest Indiana. Northwest Indiana is not going to lose Frank Mrvan as their congressman. Okay, I hate to say it. We're gonna win this race. And what Todd-Young, what your team did to you is they just took the second largest voting bloc in the state of Indiana and got them galvanized and fired up to support Frank Mrvan for Congress.
Largest.
It
right
is the
behind
second
the
largest.
Republican.
No, the second largest in the voting bloc in the state, Lindsay.
Right.
Lake County, Northwest Indiana. And
a doubt.
Northwest Indiana is not going to let Frank Mrvan lose to Blair Milo, which means we're going to show up in force and we're going to vote. And what that means is I'm also from the region, Todd-Young.
You're gonna be on the
I
ticket.
hate to point this out. I'm going to do well in Marion County because I'm working hard down there. I'm basically like a resident of Marion County right now, and I'm going to do well in the region, and I'm going to do well in South Bend, and I'm going to do well in Fort Wayne. I'm going to do well in Evansville. You're giving me...
And by the way, you've hit a lot of the smaller areas, too, and that's, to me, is important.
Agree. So
where's Todd Young? Where's the push pin?
Todd Young's not happy about
the
this.
Beltway.
Todd Young, you got screwed. Your own party screwed you. I don't know who it was. I have a feeling it might
Todd
have come,
Rakita.
I have a feeling. No, I have a feeling this came from the governor's office.
Could be. Yeah, well, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean,
how
the governor,
closely
they're tight. Yeah.
Blair and the governor are tight.
Yeah, I'm sure he encouraged her. Why not?
And by the way,
Why wouldn't
the
he?
maps don't change without help. There's a lot of people
That is
involved
true.
in changing the maps. Blair was
That is
not
true.
in the first congressional district. They changed it so she could be in the first congressional.
This plan was hatched
Yeah.
last year.
So yeah, they were thinking about Todd Young, which
Probably
makes
right.
me laugh.
I know.
It's like, Todd, you ain't on the radar, big guy. I hate to say it.
I love that music.
Good
John.
job.
All right. Well, let's keep moving because we got a full show.
We do.
We got to talk about a bunch of stuff. And one of the things that I think I love the tweet that you posted.
Thank you.
In fact, the tweet it caught fire, which is always fun.
The
Let's
theme
talk
was
about it.
the supermajority doesn't care, right?
Yeah, they're just going to do whatever the hell they want because they can.
So it was I don't it basically what the tweet said, and this is I'll stretch it out a little. There's an issue right now of partisan school board elections in Indiana. The Republican Party is putting forth that we need to inject more politics into our schools, and the best way to do that is to put school board members up that identify their party instead of being nonpartisan, right?
Sure.
So. And a number of teachers, a number of residents have testified against this bill, and basically the moral of the story is supermajority doesn't care. You can say what you want. We don't give a shit. I'm speaking as the supermajority, right? Well, how about this one? Constitutional carry. The supermajority wants all Hoosiers to be able to walk around with a gun on their hip, basically. You don't have to have a license, and I don't really think the answer to the gun violence in society right now is let's just let everybody carry, right? But anyway, the supermajority is pushing this. Police officers from across the state, Indiana State Police, police officers, police chiefs from across the state, and citizens are concerned about this bill. Supermajority doesn't care.
Yeah, so can I touch on each of those?
Sure.
So let's talk about the partisan school board election bill, right? That's House Bill 1182. It was authored by Republican Representative J.D. Prescott from Union City. And this was a weird thing he said in the committee hearing. He said, I think you can tell the difference between financial responsibility and moral character by putting on the ballot what party you're from.
Yeah.
So he's basically like, if you're a Democrat, you have no moral character and no fiscal responsibility.
So if you put a Democrat on your board, you know what you're getting, right?
Over 20 people spoke against the bill. No one spoke in favor of it.
What about constitutional carry?
So this is interesting. It was House Bill 1077, Auburn Republican Ben Smaltz, who did a survey in 2019 in his own district and asked the question, do you believe Hoosiers who are legally permitted to possess a handgun should be able to carry a handgun in public without first applying for and obtaining a state-issued license? In his own district, 64% said no.
Right.
And then
guess what? They don't care.
And a few of his colleagues asked the same question in this year and got these responses. No, and 54% no in Representative Alan Morrison's district, Republican. 60% no in Representative Michelle Davis's district. Also, state police spoke against it, Indiana State Police, and Indianapolis Police, and a bunch of other departments.
Guess what?
FOP against
Supermajority
it.
doesn't care. They don't give a crap.
We know better.
We know better
The
than
National
you.
Republican Legislative Caucus told us what to do.
We know better than you teachers and principals and administrators and
Wow.
parents. We know better than you. We know better than you cops and you state police officers and all you residents are concerned. We know better than you. By the way, I have a lifetime permit to carry a weapon. I carry it often.
Did you have a problem applying for a permit?
It took me like 2 weeks, and I put my fingerprints on file. Who cares?
At the
Who cares?
police department, they have two officers sitting in the lobby doing permits.
Right.
And there was one other thing you brought up in that.
Yeah. The whole issue with the last one about each issue should be vetted by parents before it's taught to our children.
Curriculum.
The curriculum should be approved by parents. And if your kid wants to opt out of that part of the curriculum, you have to make another curriculum for that kid who opted out.
This seems like government overreach to me.
You think?
You think?
Right?
How about allowing parents? I'm going to opt out of Nazism this week.
Nah, I don't want to teach slavery. I don't want to learn slavery. I want Junior to skip the whole Civil War, actually. Could you teach him something else?
Yikes.
Right.
House Bill 1134, and there's a
This is
Senate
a real bill,
167.
Oh, no, I'm aware. I've been following it. As a teacher, or former teacher at least, it makes me incredibly upset. I mean, when I was a teacher, I was more than happy to change some of my lesson plans individually because of religious differences, but that's just from the kindness of my own heart and because that's
Aw.
what the kid wanted.
That's nice, Lindsay.
Yeah, but like,
But you're
I'm
still
not,
teaching it.
Well, but this will make it like legally obligated for you to provide alternate lesson plans for every lesson plan you make. Because what if the potential for abuse from parents, I think, is
big time.
Dude, there's so many parents.
Why would parents know better than the teacher?
And there's so many parents that aren't even participating in their school. They're not showing up for conferences. They're not making sure little junior does his
not
or her
on the
homework.
PTA or the PTO.
They don't give a crap. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, by the way, I want to check out your curriculum. I have some suggestions for you. Right?
I haven't done anything in this school forever, but
it's just the Republican Party nowadays doesn't believe in experts. They don't believe your teacher knows best. They don't believe the experts that tell them the earth is warming. They don't believe doctors when they tell you to get a vaccine or to wear a mask. It's
don't
like
go
experts.
to school, don't go to the doctor, don't
just
call
listen
the
to
police.
Facebook.
The smarter you are, the less that the Republican Party trusts you now.
Just stay home.
Just stay dumb. Just stay dumb and listen to us, right?
That's House Bill 1134
Sorry,
and Senate Bill 167, by the way. And I
Where did John go? John just walked out.
I love coming here every
That,
morning. You know.
thank you, John.
I'm sorry about that
He's
other
at
day.
Blair for Indiana right now. He's
That's-
just
Yeah,
doing his
I'm
resume.
emailing Blair.
John, the other day we piled on you, and I apologize for that.
I was pretty messed up.
I was
You
trying to
know,
be
that
respectful.
was really nice of you, Dad, to apologize
I did.
because
It was.
Oh,
I
where's
think
the
I'm-
apology?
I
Tom's
think I'm
apology.
the-
Yes.
It's good.
I think I'm the most
I'm really
left-leaning person in this room, and John is the most right-leaning person in this room, and I think I get along with John the most because we're
that's
on
nice.
this side
Say
of the camera.
about your dad.
That could be.
you.
Just
Yeah,
real
that's
quick, I want to mention Scott
True.
Miller from Hammond, superintendent, did a great job down in Indianapolis speaking against that bill,
Cool.
that curriculum bill. Let's do some ads.
Okay.
We're going to come back, talk about where Tom traveled around. He had a really interesting visit to
Dispensary in
a
Chicago.
dispensary in Chicago. We're going to talk about that too.
I was
So
in a room
stay-
filled with marijuana.
Don't just tease that. Just go right into ads.
yeah.
Just,
Yeah. That would not be the worst room to be locked in forever.
we're going to see if they locked him in.
Thank you, Ida.
Stay tuned.
I saw your remark. Thank you. She said Team John.
John's got one fan.
You got a fan?
Did you pay her?
You have a fan. Is it Amy just posing?
It says Ida Maria Ramirez.
We've
Oh,
had
that's a
her on
fake.
here before.
That's Amy.
That
That's
chick
Amy
trolls me.
Vesmar.
That chick trolls me. Season 5, powered by our premier sponsor, Powering America. That's right. Season 5 is powered by our premier sponsor, Powering America. With the explosive growth of renewable energy in America today, call Powering America to meet your needs for renewable energy in your home or office, including electric vehicle chargers and solar power solutions. Trust the electrical professionals of
Pow.
Powering America. That's right. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org. That is poweringnorthwestindiana.org.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio. Brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, and corporate parties. They're conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu.
Misprint.
Quadrophenia.
Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and within budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions you can count on. Rick Baltensberger and his team has served Chicago and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years.
What?
Where's your new one?
That's my old one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's the one that.
I love that one. I love that. That was the original.
Oh,
Ooh,
shoot,
wait.
they didn't do it that time. That's
Wow.
right. They even do metal business cards. Rick Baltensberger and his team has served the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana market for over 30 years. Misprint has 2 convenient locations in Munster and in Hammond.
Executive Suite Squared, commonly known as ES2, is a first-class executive office environment located on 8094 at Kennedy Avenue. ES2 offers flexible membership plans that provide the privacy of dedicated, fully furnished offices with 24/7 secured access, so no matter how big or small your business may be, they can accommodate the way you work. For more information on their basic or private office membership packages or to rent one of their state-of-the-art conference rooms, call them at 219-844-2901 or visit them at executivesuites2.com. See that? Perfect read.
It was really good.
Got right through that.
Yeah, I see the Matt Money Smith comes out in you every once in a while. You guys have the same DNA after all.
Have to geek it out.
Challenger Learning Center. This Valentine's Day, embark on a date like night. This Valentine's
Rewind.
Day, embark on a date night like no other to create a love connection
Supposed to
for a
say this,
lonely.
like, sweetly.
Good God, this is a tough sentence. This Valentine's Day, embark on a date night like no other to create a love connection for a lonely Mars rover. I mean, that is not the easiest sentence to
did it.
blurt out. Join Challenger Learning Center on Saturday, February 12th from 5 to 8 p.m. for a brand new Red Planet romance event. That's right. It's a Red Planet romance event with
Mars.
dinner and drinks presented by Byway Brewery. and you know how that is. Byway Brewery is good food.
And good beer.
And good beer. Register today at clcnwi.com. That's clcnwi.com. We got to get Laura back in the studio. It's been a while.
In her
Yeah, she's
jumpsuit.
cool.
Yeah.
In her jumpsuit.
We don't
in her
require
challenge
her-
Astronaut
jumpsuit.
outfit?
We don't require her to wear the astronaut outfit each time she comes to Lock Pod, does she? She did it the first time.
So I said
No,
in the
but it's
jumpsuit.
pretty cool. It's good for optics, so
It is,
Thank
but
you.
most people listen to our show. I hate to point that out.
I
That's true,
watched
just-
the show.
Well, you're
Maybe.
here. Yeah, because when we test her, we
Wait,
talked
wait,
about
wait.
the episode before. it's
Lindsay
like,
does
I
not
was
watch
on
the show.
my deathbed.
You-
Okay.
Yeah,
like
Lindsay.
she texted.
For those of you that watch and listen to the show often, Lindsay comes back the other day and she says something. I
In a
forgot-
text change.
It
She's like,
was the-
I found out that our song's
Our
being
song.
played
That was
on
so
an ad.
funny.
We're like, you
Let me
obviously now we know
Somebody
you don't
stole
listen.
our
Can I
song.
explain what's
We should
going
do a bit on
here?
this.
Can I explain, please? Because I walked in last Friday and Kevin was talking about how some football player uses our intro song as his intro song. And that's all I knew about it because I was very ill and I was not going to watch my father act a fool on the internet.
I wasn't aware that like when you were ill, you can't listen
Can't
to
listen to
Lock
the
Pod.
No, I'm not
Sure.
going to listen to your voice while I'm trying to
because of you.
survive.
The last thing I want to do is listen to my
The
dad.
hatred just
that's great.
oozes
It
from
doesn't
her.
it?
I know. It's
Hey,
You're always so nice
what did I
to
do
her.
to you?
Yeah.
I feel like you two have some
You're always
issues.
so nice to her.
I don't have issues. I have a feeling Lindsay has issues. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I did wrong. God damn, man. It's like when she talks about me, it's like,
But hey,
like I must have been a
hey.
bad dad. So.
No, I was just ill, and I just
And I don't
wanted
wanna listen to your
sleep.
voice.
I just
Your
wanted
voice
to
makes me
sleep.
wanna
Let
vomit.
me
It's gonna
be
sleep.
quite a
I
Father's
was
Day.
ill. Anyway,
Right.
so I was watching TV because I was sick, and I heard our intro song on it was True
Shannon Sharp's
Genetics or something,
yeah,
Trugenics.
yeah, True something.
and I was like, oh, that's our intro song. So I texted the guys, and they just roasted me for like 25
Because
minutes.
we did a bit like 2 days before that on this exact issue.
You know, you're like, well, I don't understand why Lindsay didn't want to listen to the show. Because every time I bring something up, you're just like, oh, Lindsay doesn't pay attention, blah, 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 blah.
There we go, boy.
Come on.
Poor Lindsay.
I
Poor
know. My
notorious
life is
LNP.
really hard.
Now, let's get
okay?
back to what your dad was doing this week.
Mayor Tom on the road. So, so this is we don't have the sound bit for this segment, but basically we try to update you on what I've been doing for the past few days. I just got back late last night, missed pre-show. I did pre-show by phone.
Yeah,
which is
that was the
time.
first.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So-
I did a lot of typing.
But I went on another podcast, by the way, this week.
Oh, wow.
I
That
was
was nice
invited.
of you. Thanks for letting us know.
Deborah Chubb,
Betrayal.
and Electable.
Electable.
Yeah, she was invited me on. It's usually women that are on that show, so I felt very honored that she recognized somebody from.
I got a couple texts that said that said, hey, I just heard Mayor Tom on this podcast. It was really cool.
Oh, it's already come out. Nice.
Oh, yeah. They were-
Awesome.
Unless you can listen to it live. I don't know. I got 2 texts that said,
No.
Mayor Tom
Deborah-
was on Electable. It
Nice.
sounded
Yeah.
great.
Oh, that's awesome. I got to check it out. But yeah, Deborah's great. She has a big following of people that believe in her, and I appreciate her for inviting me on. And it's a great podcast, also. So it was nice. Marissa and I campaigned together on one night this week. We went to the
Fun.
city of Gary, and we went to Van Buren Church. It was on Van Buren and Gary, and we went to the 11th night of the 12-night Revival Baptist Ministers Conference, which
Whoa,
was nice.
that sounds-
Pastor Mack was the lead pastor
Nice.
that night.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. That was
12th
Tuesday.
night?
We were on the 11th night. So
11 to 12.
right. I had meetings with UAW leadership, which auto workers, for those of you that aren't aware, and that's huge in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, especially like Kokomo.
I don't have a lot of auto worker jobs in the city of Hammond. I don't get to deal with these issues as much, being mayor of Hammond. But I do have a lot of auto workers that live in Hammond. They work at the Ford
Yeah,
plant. We do have
absolutely.
auto worker jobs in Hammond. You know where they are, guys?
No. I
Anybody?
do not know this.
Take a guess.
Wait,
You
hold
do
on,
know
hold
it.
on,
You
hold
just
on.
don't realize you know it.
Oh, it's
South Shore?
Lear.
Good job, John.
Oh,
Lear.
John.
Yeah.
Nice
Hey.
call.
John. Good
Yeah.
job. It's Lear.
Those
Yeah.
are UAW.
So
Okay.
Those are UAW
smart.
jobs, right? So, and we built Lear and brought it into the city of Hammond. They were looking to leave, and we kept them, and we created
And
an extra
expanded.
100+ jobs, UAW jobs. So it's something I'm proud of. But met with the UAW, feel real good about where that's headed. Steel workers are helping me a lot with that. You know, Mike Millsap, Jerome Davidson. Those guys are
His
being
crew.
dude.
They're going to
like-
be busy.
I love those guys. Honestly, like to see like a relationship go full circle like that, where it started off where they were working against me when I was running against Frank 2 years ago, and watch how effective they were when they were kicking my ass. And they were effective, man. It was, and now I'm watching them work just as hard for me, and it makes me very happy.
It's
cool.
like very cool.
It's like drinking warm milk at night. It just soothes the soul.
You're like, man, the steelworkers are out there with me.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So they opened doors for me with the UAW, and I was told straight up by the leadership of the UAW that UAW and the steelworkers see the world very, very similarly. They basically told me, they said steelworker issues are our issues are the steelworker issues.
Makes sense, right? I mean, auto workers use steel. So.
Yeah, so I feel real good about where that's heading. I'm going to keep working hard. Went to a region reception. I know the Vez was there, which was nice. See him down there. The Northwest Indiana Forum Legislative Reception.
Yeah, Heather did a great job with that.
She did do a great job. There's a lot of people there, right, Vez?
Yeah.
Man, many words. That guy,
Yes.
that Vesmar,
Yes.
man. Sometimes he gets rolling, and I got to cut him off. You know.
Not today.
Kevin was there too.
Kevin was there. Yeah. Andrade was there. Mike Andrade, the great rep from Town of Munster, Town of Munster. Excuse me. Representative Soliday. He's my buddy, my Republican buddy.
Yeah.
He was
Airline
there.
pilot.
I go across the room to talk to Ed. Ed and I have a connection.
Yeah, you guys do for sure. I mean, I think he looks out for the region.
He definitely looks out for the region, and he's definitely respected, and he's definitely an important person, and he does like me, which is nice. So I make sure to foster that relationship. By the way, good friend of his, a good friend of mine, Randy Palmatier, happens to be Ed's son-in-law. That doesn't hurt. So
Doesn't hurt at all.
It was good to see a great rep.
And we
Ed
saw
Sullivan.
Randy down there.
Of course, you see Randy Palmatier, who's a bigwig now. He's got a lobbying
He's got
job
the
in the
new
State
job.
House. Yeah, so he's doing real well. He's like
All suit
Clean-
and tied up,
clean
clean
cut.
cut Randy. I was like,
What? That's
wow,
hilarious,
clean
dude.
cut Randy. He was all official.
He looks like a Republican.
And I was like,
He's
man, Randy, maybe his father-in-law was like, this is what you do.
This is what you do.
How you do it,
You
Randy.
have to shave in the morning. You have to shower before you go to work. But Randy
Poor
looks
Randy.
good.
No, he does. He's doing a good job down there.
House Lager, great rep, was there. Senator Niemeyer,
Yeah, they
big
were
fan.
All, yep.
Senator Melton, Representative Van Adder, he was there. Yeah,
He listens.
he does listen.
It's nice to know that Rep.
Because
Van
like,
Adder
if
is
you guys don't
listening.
remember, I've been sort of tough on him in the past, and I sometimes think I'm in a closet, nobody's listening, and then I get reminded, hey, I listened to that episode. I got one of those the other night. Representative Van Adder was there, and what was his buddy's name?
Rep. Morrison?
Rep Morris. Yeah, Rep
yeah.
Morris and Van Adder. Rep Morris and I have always gotten along. He's a nice guy, young man, younger than me, but he's been in there now since 2010, so they've both been there for 12 years.
I think. 2012?
2010. We were talking
okay.
about it. Because I remember when I got elected, we were real close. I mean, not real close, but that was back in the day when Republicans and Democrats actually talked to each other and actually liked each other. And when they got elected, we were all real nice to each other.
Although I will say this, I was really impressed with Rep. Mike Andrade and how he's been fostering relationships across the aisle to get his bills heard and things like that. So good for Mike.
Yeah. I was watching him the other day. He wants to punch a hole in the wall sometimes.
Yes.
He's such a nice guy, and I'm like, Mike, you're such a nice
It's a
guy, and you
frustrating
expect
job,
everybody
man.
to be nice back to you, and it's just not going to work.
True.
Right. So anyway, but Representative Van Adder told me he was listening, and he heard that show where I was tough on him, and he reminded me that was pretty mean.
No,
He didn't say it like that either. He was
fair.
he was like, yeah, you had a lot to say on your podcast, and now you're being nice to me, and I was being nice to him. I was like,
Wow.
dude, like, relax. I'm like, I'm a
Go on your
Democrat,
own
you're a
podcast and rip us.
Right.
You know?
I'm like, I don't give a shit if you
go
want me
ahead.
on your podcast. I don't like, I'm talking to you. I don't have a personal issue with you. I've known you for 12 years, and I was trying to be nice. I don't know if you took it, but
I don't think he did.
we were at a cigar bar, and I was just trying to be nice to the guy. I did a TV show yesterday, Wish TV, in Indianapolis.
Phil Sanchez.
Yeah, Phil Sanchez, which is great. It's going to air this weekend. Warren Township Democrats, guest speaker last night.
Yeah.
And left there like 7:45 and drove home and got home late.
Outstanding. Patting yourself on the back.
Yeah. Well, I didn't pat until this morning.
Oh, that's
I
right.
didn't
The
realize
patting
it.
started this morning.
Oh, but I went to Mission South Shore Dispensary in South Chicago.
Oh, wow. Because, I mean, that's an issue, right? You brought that up as an issue in the
One
campaign.
of my issues. Yeah, I want to see marijuana
Legalization of
legalized at the
cannabis.
federal level, and I'm starting to climb the cannabis train. Meaning, there's a bunch of people, like there's a bunch of business owners, there's a bunch of lobbyists.
Do they have like a trade group?
Yeah, and I'm working my way through the ranks there.
Interesting.
I have a couple champions that are helping me, and they're giving me advice. But anyway, I was locked in a room filled with weed, which was pretty cool. I was like too nervous to take a picture. I'm just like, holy crap, there's like weed everywhere in this room. And it was nice though. They showed me how the whole thing works out.
I mean, it's pretty interesting, right? I mean, that industry is, we mentioned this when we talked about your position on this, and that is that Illinois raises more taxes from marijuana sales than they do than alcohol.
Right. It
That's
does.
something.
It
And
was
Indiana's just,
You know, actually, the more people I've been talking to about the legalization of marijuana, the more I realized that Illinois, a lot of people like to bang on Illinois, a lot of people like to make fun of Illinois, but from what a lot of people that know things about the marijuana industry, they say the best laws in the country, the model is Illinois and the way they do it. And I've talked to a number of people because they guarantee that a lot of the licenses go to the young people,
minority owners,
right?
MBs.
Poor neighborhoods, things like that. So the people that never really had these opportunities before are getting first stab at opening up a dispensary, and it's a good line of work to be in right now. But so it's really interesting, and I'm going to keep on cultivating that relationship.
Did you know the
cultivating?
You like that?
I like that. Cultivating.
That's right. Yeah.
Where is that, John? Do it again. Very good.
Howie
Top 50 came out.
Sound effects
Oh, yeah?
Incredible.
Does you tell everybody what the Howie Top 50 is?
The Howie Top 50 is out every year. Howie Political Report. Howie's a political prognosticator. Is that the word?
Or political reporter. Right?
Political reporter. He's been a reporter for decades.
Probably has the
real
top,
smart guy.
The Howie Politics Indiana is followed by everybody in
I don't know
Indiana politics.
I want it, Brian Howie, and we've been talking about this too long. We got to make this happen. Okay, Brian's got to be a guest on the show. He's so knowledgeable about Indiana politics and Indiana history. He'd be a great guest, and it's my fault that it hasn't happened yet. So I'm gonna make sure that happens. But his political report came out.
There's a thing called the Power 50.
I was in it for a long time until last year. Last year when I lost to Frank, I fell out. And I'm telling you, I was in his Power Top 50. The top 50 political operatives in Indiana. I was in it for 12 or 13 years.
I was going to say, like, started on his honorable mention, made it up to top 10, I think.
Not even, I was like in the top, I was not counting honorable mention.
Yeah.
Okay. I was in it for well over a decade.
Agreed.
Different levels. Sometimes I was 12, sometimes I was 19, sometimes I was 42.
Right.
But I was in the top 50 until I lost to Frank-Mcdermott-Jr.
And you said your political career was over.
And I was out. I was out of the top
Brian
50.
was like, well,
WTF
he said it was over.
WTF
Part 1 and 2.
Part 1 and 2.
And Howie was like, well, I guess I'm taking him
out. I
I
believe him. He's out. So
you had a good comeback this year.
I fell out of the top 50. I didn't even look.
Number 20.
Is it 20?
Yes.
See?
Look at this.
I'm number 20.
Getting there.
Joe Donnelly.
Give me a good number 20.
Rakita. Whoa.
Where's
and
Rakita?
18. Oh,
Rakita was
Mike Schmuel, 19.
Rakita's
18. Two above. Only two.
19 Schmuel. Yeah, there he is.
Look
at you. Whoa. Where's that shot?
Oh, you got a
That's Wolf
picture?
Lake. That's Wolf Lake.
Picture, man.
Yeah, I was Wolf Lake. That's the bike trail on Wolf Lake.
The ambitious 5-term mayor.
I am ambitious.
Wow.
Yes.
Very ambitious.
Yeah.
It's a good picture of me, too.
Keep scrolling.
Yeah, this is
something big.
This was the surprise of
you guys
of the year. So I keep scrolling down. Go down. It's in the 40s.
Get to Walter Payton, number
it- what
34.
number?
34. Go to 34.
Sweetness, 34.
Who the hell is
Oh
Kevin
my
Smith?
God, Kevin! Let's
Well,
go.
I had to split it with Todd Young's campaign manager. But
That is awesome, dude.
That
Thank
is
you.
great.
Kevin
Surprising.
freaking Smith.
First time ever.
KCS.
I think it's thanks to the Lockpod.
Dude,
And you.
it is. It has a lot to do with Lockpod, and it has a lot to do with the fact that you're running a U.S. Senate campaign.
I'm trying.
Well,
Let's get those
You're doing a
signatures.
great job.
Hold on, I'm scrolling.
But that was
looking
something
for
I gotta
John
really,
Besmar.
I gotta
Oh,
really.
there's
People like
Lindsay.
honorable
There's
mention.
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Whoa, Lindsay's in there.
Maybe just Lockpod will be on there one day. Just how about honorable mention Lockpod?
They got Birch Evans by.
Yeah.
Birch by son.
Bo by.
Number 50.
Or Evan
Bo?
by son. Yeah. Mhm.
Wow, that's the guy hasn't even really lived here. and
I
he's
got
in the top
a
50.
really sweet text from Shaw Friedman in LaPorte. He said, "I never made it past 41.
Yeah.
Congrats."
And Shaw Friedman's on the Democratic National
Yeah,
Committee,
man.
Kevin.
So
he's on the Democratic National
it just
Committee.
goes to show you how random the top 50 can be. But
That's
I'll take
awesome.
it. Thank
But
you.
One thing I've learned about top 50 over the years, it's year to year. Some years, and right now, you happen to be running a U.S. Senate campaign, and
Yep.
right now, I happen to be a U.S. Senate candidate. So just give me one more year. I'll be
Got
back. I'll be back in the honorable mentions where I belong.
No, you're going to be top 5.
Okay.
All right, let's do ads. We got to get Destiny
Lindsay,
in
could
here.
you go get Destiny, please?
Yes, I can.
Gracias. All right, I'll start them off. Calumet Brewery. Let's get the new year started with a Michelob Ultra.
There it was, John.
Ultra has only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, so it is sure to keep your resolutions in check while continuing to be one of the fastest growing brands nationally and in the region. Take your resolutions to the next level and try an organic light lager with only 2.5 carbs and 85 calories. Ultra Pure Gold is brewed for your healthy lifestyle. That's right. If you're healthy, drink that Ultra Pure Gold beer. Check out you're not supposed to laugh. It's our sponsor.
That's right.
Check out calbrew.com or CalBrew's Facebook page for brand info and giveaways. Cheers with beers.
Grisolia's Concrete was voted #1 in the Times Best of the Region 2020 and 2021. Grizzolia's Concrete specializes in all of your concrete projects, and they've been using the original cement finish in the...
California style.
Oh, that's so
I'm
official.
not
Now
feeling
that
it. And
Destiny's
plus, I got
here.
Destiny right next to me.
California style.
Thank you,
She doesn't
Vince.
want to hear
You're
me. She doesn't want to
welcome.
hear me sing.
Can Destiny do it?
Since 1972, and also offers stamped and colored concrete. Call now, 219-659-4127 to Grizzolia's Concrete to get your project lined up for the spring.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon. Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
Okay, thanks, Eli. Tri-Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Tri-Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. They're dedicated to assisting their clients with their systems integration needs. Tri-Electronics has the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Tri-Electronics today at 800-722-6793. Thanks to all our sponsors, especially our premier sponsor, Powering America.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Pow.
very happy to welcome to our studio a young lady that just announced her candidacy for Secretary of State in the state of Indiana.
Woo!
She just recently received her commission from the military. I mean, received her discharge from the military, right?
Oh, from active duty.
From active duty. Yeah, pull
back
up
in-
on that. You
I'm
get-
back
get
in
close.
reserve status.
Nice to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Destiny Scott Wells. Welcome to Lockpod.
The one and
Happy
only.
to be here.
Second time on the pod.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
let's not forget, we
That's
were on
right.
the porch in French Lick.
That's right.
Oh,
Together.
yeah.
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 Welcome.
I
Since the
listened to
porch.
that one.
It was a good one.
Yeah, that was a
Thanks,
good
Lindsay.
one.
I had to fight my way on the show that day, though.
I
Well, we-
remember that. I
we
remember
just-
that, but you did.
No, but we all just met literally,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
probably the day before that, right?
Under the dome.
Yeah, it was the see, like that's the thing I love about French, like it's all tradition, right? So when it was under the dome, that would be Friday, right?
Right.
That was the big Democratic dinner. They have it in
Absolutely.
the dome at West Baden. It's really cool, actually.
Gorgeous.
I love that place. But yeah, Destiny, tell me how you got started. First off, you drove up this morning to the region.
Well, yeah, I drove up and I wanted to say, since I was on the show on the porch at IDEA, you've got a viewer in Martinsville. My mom watches.
Bam!
Outstanding.
What's
So
your mom's name?
Roxanne. So when I told
Hi,
her,
Roxanne.
Yeah.
How's it going? Thanks for listening.
when I told her I was coming up, she said, "Oh, Destiny, don't let them make any frat jokes."
No,
Oh, no frat
way.
jokes.
Lindsay
Don't
would
worry,
not let that.
I'll keep
Yeah,
an
Lindsay's
eye. Don't
Lindsay's in
worry.
charge of our non-frat
Lindsay's the police
shows.
officer of the studio, so yeah, she's not going to let that happen, I
Nope.
promise.
Not a single one.
Well, welcome to the studio. Thanks for coming up here. I imagine you're going to go out and go meet some region people while you're here, which is great.
Right, gonna go see the county party chair.
Good.
See
Jim?
Jim
go see
Weiser.
Jim Weiser, and then last night I headed over to LaPorte for one of their Democratic Club get-togethers.
Good for you, Destiny.
Congressman Mrvan was
Yeah,
there. That was
nice.
great. Got to talk to him. Met the party chair there, Dr. Cora.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
great guy.
Dr.
And
Crow's
Shaw
great.
was there. I finally got to meet
Outstanding.
Shaw in person. Shaw was
Yeah.
one of my first
Shaw's the
my
best.
first donor.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he loves
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
great.
I
Shaw's
meant a lot
smart.
to me. Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciated that.
Yeah.
You know what? Why don't we show that clip of your John? Do you have that fired up? The
Yeah.
clip of Destiny when she announced last week for her candidacy. It's pretty cool, and then we'll get into it.
Yep.
This is the flag moving forward. This is the flag so many of us have worn in our uniforms. How many have worn it on their uniforms halfway across the world as they gave their last breath for other people's democracy. This is us together moving forward. Some people have said, it makes me feel funny. I said, you know what? Democracy on the line should make you feel funny.
Wow.
Pretty powerful.
Because Destiny, the flag you're talking about is worn in the military. It looks like it's a American flag backwards, but could you explain that a little bit, if you don't mind?
Right, and so for people who haven't seen it, maybe you could think of like a Jeep Wrangler, and you see
Right.
the Jeep the flag just like that on the Jeep, and we wear it like that on our right shoulder, and so we're moving, forward, and that's what this flag represents is us moving forward together no matter who we are, because if you think about the military, it's the most diverse organization there is, and everybody checks their personal differences and fights for the mission at hand. And so that's what I wanted when I used this flag, and I've gotten some flack for it.
Really?
And I've gotten some flack in that people say, hey, it reminds me of like nationalistic things, kind of like a white supremacy thing. And I'm like, guys, here's the problem. This is where we went wrong. We've let the right monopolize the
Think about
flag.
that.
They've taken it as their own to the point that where we get nervous. It's not upside down. It's moving forward. And it is, for the record, as an attorney, not a violation of U.S. flag code. But
Look at you. Wow.
Good for you.
Outstanding.
You
And that's your
wanna
logo. That's your logo. Yeah.
That's the logo, because every time we talk about that flag, we get to hammer the points of why we are protecting the vote. Tom, people say, thank you for your service. But that feels so intangible. Let's protect democracy. That also feels intangible. The tangible of that is that when you serve, you're doing it to protect the vote, because that is the cornerstone of the republic, is our free and fair elections.
I love that, Destiny. That's what, and Blair Milo, I know you probably know Blair, right?
Yes, I do know.
She
Blair.
just, she announced that she's running against Frank-Mcdermott-jr. Yesterday.
Right, and I was just surprised because Congressman Mrvan is representing his district so well. I appreciate the work that he does for the Veteran Affairs Committee. And so,
She came out yesterday and she was spouting the right-wing talking points about whether or not the last election was legitimate. And I'm surprised that Blair, also a military officer, would say that. I'm surprised, actually, because I don't think that any person that served in the military should talk like that about democracy.
Right, and so I think Blair doing that probably is a bit of a litmus test on where we're headed as far as other Republican candidates.
That's right.
And, this is when you run even as a candidate before you hold elected office, you are in that position, and it's a position of trust. And so when you go out and you start to message like that, I really feel like you're abusing the trust that the public's putting in you.
Well, let me ask you, you guys are both veterans. Obviously, Tom and Destiny are both veterans. Why do you think it's important? Because a lot of times people say, oh, well, most veterans are Republicans. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but what do you feel, Destiny, number one, why it's important for Democratic veterans to be running for office, and why it's important to get the veteran voice and issues out there for your type of race or Tom's type of race?
I think it's important because, like you said, people think that all veterans are Republican. And I can remember a day walking into the mess hall, and you would have Fox playing on a loop.
Really?
And when you think about that, like you have this disinformation just streaming into the cafeterias, and that's what they hear. And so there's this idea that, this must be an indoctrination in the force, and that they're all conservative. And that can't be further from the truth. And so I think it's really important for people like us to step forward and say, hey, we're progressive. And it's not the nation that we put forward first, it's the country. Okay, people are conflating patriotism and nationalism.
Agreed.
And I will not apologize whatsoever for being too patriotic. I think somebody called me yesterday, she's militantly patriotic.
Good.
I'm like,
You'll
I
take that.
don't even know what that means. I had to Google it.
I think it's good. Yeah.
Take that.
But it's just important that we get out there and we represent, because look to rural Indiana. Okay, so you have the division that serves in Indiana and the Indiana Army National Guard. That's actually where I started. It's where my husband serves. And that reaches out so far into the rural communities. I mean, so many people in my community served. I lost a classmate in Afghanistan, 2007, Ryan Fritchie. And so when a veteran can get in front of their fellow community, it causes people to look at inside themselves and say, okay, I'm over here, but I trust John, and John's over here. So let me think about why. And so when you have candidates recently like Blair who are going to say, well, I question the elections, that's where I think we're going to go entirely wrong. And then it also is kind of a forecast of what I think will happen at convention. So I have to go to convention to be nominated as a Democratic candidate, and the Republicans go through the same process in June. And I think it's going to be a race to the bottom.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, when you start questioning elections, when you don't know much about elections and how they're run, I think it's always dangerous, because it starts questioning our democracy. And if we don't have full and fair participation, and people start wondering, does my vote count? because they're not involved, right? But they just hear these talking points. It starts chipping away at what we all believe in and what we've all learned to believe in as kids and as adults, that democracy works and democracy is the way to have your voice heard in your, by voting. And if you can't trust it because you've got these terrible talking points from the other side saying it's a fraud, there's been all this collusion, this, the other thing, it starts chipping away at it. And as Secretary of State, you will be the top election official in the state.
Right. It's the office oversees the election division, the business division, a couple of other things, but obviously voting is the front burner issue going into this election.
So when we choose our next Secretary of State, when we choose you, we want somebody that's tough, somebody that's knowledgeable, somebody that's going to protect democracy, and I think that describes you perfectly, Destiny.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's what I want to do, because the situation that we have right now, so Secretary Lawson retired, and they had a Republican appointment so they could get that Republican incumbent in there before the race. So that's Holly Sullivan. Mm-hmm. She was formerly deputy or vice chair of the Republican Party. She just stepped down from that recently. And she was a legislator before she got there. So you can see anytime that something comes out of the legislature, her feedback is that she doesn't have any, or she supports them. Mm-hmm. And so we need somebody in there that is going to push back and is going to advocate for the people. Voting should not continually be made harder. It should be made easier.
Absolutely.
And we have some of the most restrictive voting laws in the country. For example, 29 days you have to, for voter registration, a 29-day deadline.
I love that you're bringing that up.
Right. And so you have all these other questions about, who is purged from the books. Indiana, twice in recent years, the courts have found that they were violating the National Voter Registration Act. Intentional efforts to try to make voting harder.
Mm-hmm. Well, or impossible.
I think that 29-day registration, I brought that up so many times. I sit as the chairman of Lake County.
You have to register.
You have to register in Indiana 30 days before the election, basically 29 days before the election.
And if you don't?
You can't vote in that election. And so
no same-day registration.
No same-day registration, no 2 weeks before. Right. And I think, we all know that most folks, because I always get a call from my mom or dad like 2 or 3 weeks before the election. Kevin, what's going on in the election? Who am I voting for? Who do you want me to, who do you think is good? And we all get calls like that. And I'm thinking, if that's normal, people that aren't registered, they may not even be engaged until 3 weeks before the election or 2 weeks before the election. And they want to go vote. What do you mean I can't vote? I can't register now? That happens every election. So I'm glad you're bringing up the 29-day registration.
Yeah, and we're going to bring up, the fact that we have the least amount of hours that you can go until 6 o'clock. Right? People get off work and they don't have time. We need to carve out special exceptions for, people like first responders.
Increase early voting.
Right. Yeah. Increase early voting.
Well, Indiana has a rule that says if a county is going to have early voting, which is incredible because Lake County, we always have early voting because of a unanimous vote by our election board.
Yeah,
one person can stop that. Yep. And in Marion County, one person does stop it. They can't get an election board to be unanimous. So Marion County has very limited early voting, which is absolutely insane from the capital city. How is it that the capital city has the most restrictive voting and you come to a place like Lake County with our quote-unquote corrupt government and we have early voting for
19 voting sites for early voting.
With multiple locations, for weeks.
And we've worked with Republicans. The Republicans
right.
on the election board have worked great with the Democrats.
But the bottom line is it's an election. It's a law in our state.
It's county by county.
That's county by county, and one person could block it, which is absolutely insane.
Well, I do want to thank Mila Eldridge, our party vice chair, because she's the clerk in Marion County, and I very easily was able to vote at Lucas Stadium.
Nice.
When everything was occurring last
but
election cycle.
Was that the only vote center though, or that's very limited? Like Lake County, like Kevin said, we have. How many locations?
19.
19 locations, which is you could go anywhere and vote.
Right.
For weeks,
They need to expand it, I guess, is what happened, right?
We never even got into Destiny. What made you want to join the military? Was it right out of college in this case, or did you go to college in the military, or?
Well, there's actually a funny story about that.
Good. We love funny stories.
So I have a lot of military in my heritage, back to the Revolutionary War.
Wow.
Really?
Right, and that the family farm is right next to the plot of our Revolutionary War service member.
Wow.
I say
cool.
we don't get very far out of Martinsville, but I got to Indianapolis, folks.
That's right. You made it north.
I got to Indy. But I've lived all around the world, but settled in Indy. Anyway, I was dun dun dun, a cheerleader, and I was going to go to University of Florida. I was going to be a Florida Gator. I was really competitive. I had a background in gymnastics and all that great stuff, and weighed like 15 pounds less, and would fly across the room, right? So I'm going to do that, and then I get an injury. And so I end up at IU, and I'm a little fish in a big pond, and 9/11 had happened the year before, and I'm a political science major, and it just all made sense. And so I ended up enlisting in the National Guard as a truck driver so I could get through the summer and back to school. But the funny thing is when I went to basic training, I was in Alpha Company, and I was we were on our ruck march it was the last week, and we were the Alpha Company Gators, and we were doing the Gator chomp. And I remember like looking up at the sky and being like, this is not what I meant. So the lesson there is be very specific in the prayers you send up, because God has a wicked sense of humor.
That's funny. So,
and what year was that? How many years did you serve?
So
you're still serving?
No, yeah, I'm at 18 and a half right now, so it takes 20 to retirement. My husband's at 21.
Wow. Did you guys meet in the military?
We met in the military, and he was my first.
Oliver, right?
Yeah, Oliver. He's a lieutenant colonel. We're both intel officers. But, I didn't like him. Like, he was my first supervisor, and he gave me, like, a questionable review. And so
you probably bring that up all the time.
So we start dating when I'm in Afghanistan. So what do? You just email back and forth, hi, and I sent him the review. I got it out on my record at Human Resources Command. I said, hey, do you remember this? He was like, I was hoping you forgot it. And I was like, yeah, it took me 15 years to forget. That's why I'm only dating you now.
That's hilarious.
And so you guys are in Indy.
We're in Indy with our two sons.
So is Oliver from Indiana also, or did you convert him?
Oliver's from Rochester. He's from Fulton County. So we make our way up to Fulton County, and his dad's a farmer too.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're in downtown. We love it. And we have two sons, Owen, who's 10, and Harrison, who's 2.5. And Harrison, he just keeps it. He's guys. This was my first day on the campaign. Oliver got halfway to daycare. They sent an email, and he came right back. And my son's classroom's closed. And for 2 weeks, those are my first 2 weeks on the trail.
No. Oliver's going to be busy.
Yeah.
Oliver's
you're gonna own when you
Thank
get
you,
back.
Oliver, because the hard work that you guys are doing as a team is going to pay off. And Marissa and I do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
Right.
Marissa sacrifices a lot. And, Lindsay knows growing up in that house. I'm
plenty.
gone. Like, I got home last night at 10 o'clock. Marissa was, taking Patrick to and picking him up from school and all that. So, but the hard work of you guys as a team pays off big time. So just keep working hard.
Well,
That's
I appreciate
awesome.
that.
Yeah. So, so you're enlisted in the Army at first. When did you become an officer?
I did Army ROTC.
Was it right away, or once you graduated?
Oh, no. As soon as I got back from basic, I was like, I need to sign my contract. Because there were tons of deployments going on at that time, and I just wanted to finish school. And a lot of my peers didn't get to finish, but I thank them for what they did. And that was like when deployments were like 18 months. They were crazy. So I commissioned out of IU as an intel officer, spent some time in the Indiana Guard, worked recruiting, which is actually really paying off now because I've already traveled all around the state.
Nice.
And I'm like, I'm going to get to go back to Allen County. I'm going to get to go back to
That's
Evansville,
right. Yep. Right.
down where they tell me it's God's country.
Yeah, that's
when
right.
you walk out of the car.
That's funny.
And so I did that. I ended up in the Texas Guard, went to law school down in Texas.
Saw that, UT.
Yeah, went to UT Law, really great school.
Yeah,
and,
sure. It's a great law school.
Yeah, and I have friends, that are actually one of our classmates was at the Capitol on January 6th. And so it brought a lot of us back together, and we talk about it all the time.
On the Capitol inside or on the outside trying to get inside?
He didn't get inside. Look, it's just back to watching somebody evolve through this and just falling victim to this disinformation. I was out in D.C. a couple, maybe 3 months ago with a group called Truman National Security Project. It's actually where I met Mike Schmoll. I went up to Mayor Pete's office then, and he's been in the organization too. And that really opened the door. When you say, why'd you get into politics? Truman was a large part of that. And so when you go out there, you just have all of these brains from national security. It makes me feel like so small. Oh, yeah. Everybody's got like double Ivy League, or whatever. Right. And we talked about the disinformation that is plaguing our nation. And it was just so somber, like going home and realizing what we're up against. Because, I mean, to no fault of our own, we're so innovative that we have technology now that we're being fed information faster than we can process.
Right. And bad actors are taking advantage of it.
I tell you,
sure.
I've talked to a number of people over the last month, and the number of times I hear people, because I'm like, what do you think? Where do you think we went wrong as a country? Because we're heading in the wrong direction. I think most people would admit that, and that's why I think, that's why I'm running for U.S. Senate, and I know that's why Destiny's running in Indiana, is because we feel like we're heading in the wrong direction for democracy. And I talk to a lot of people, and I'm saying, where do you think it went wrong? And they say, well, obviously Trump. But even before that, a lot of the people tell me it was Facebook, it's social media that's really driven. John, do you agree with that statement?
100%.
Yep.
Social media is hell. Yeah.
It's a sewer.
I'm a child of the social media generation, so I have.
That's true.
I see the benefits, but there are drawbacks.
And
I
Lindsay,
think Facebook specifically, yes, but like Instagram, Snapchat, I don't think that's necessary.
I would agree with you on that. I would agree with you. I love TikTok.
TikTok is
Don't say that
great.
about TikTok.
Destiny, do you like TikTok?
I am not on the platform TikTok.
I'm not either.
You'd probably have a
it's-
similar feed as mine.
It's actually it's kind of a national security threat. So
There you
as
go.
a member of the Department of Defense, we were advised not to
Good
get
for
on
you.
TikTok.
Wow,
Good for you.
interesting.
Wow, that's a
Wow.
great
Interesting.
answer. I got to run with that
Yeah.
one. I'm not on TikTok either. But
My
on
feed's
TikTok.
terrible.
I have no rhythm. But it's a fun game we play. Is we look at each other's TikTok feed, and you can see what kind of person you're dealing with. Like when Kevin looks at his feed, it's a bunch of cats.
Mine's a bunch of cats, too.
I had an orangutan driving a golf cart. the other
Orangutan.
day, so-
You look at mine.
Animals.
It's usually women dancing. I don't know what's going on here, right?
I wouldn't have known Kevin was a cat guy.
I'm not. That
Yeah,
tells you
he's
how
not.
bad the
He's an
algorithm is.
orangutan driving a golf cart guy.
It's all based on what you like and interact with. So
I agree. That's so weird. We did that. It was hilarious that we were all at dinner and we all like randomly just brought our TikToks out and we like looked at the first video that popped up and we rolled laughing. Just it was at French.
It's
funny
funny.
enough.
It's
It is.
funny.
You learn a lot about a person. Like John, what was yours?
Women dancing as well.
Oh,
Isn't it weird?
gosh.
See,
Yeah.
Too
it's like a
many
window
straight
into
men.
people's
It's a window
souls,
into
and
your
it-
soul, and I have nothing to do with TikTok. I swear, I'd never posted.
And you know what?
I don't
Kevin
even
is
have
an
account.
animal lover.
I really am not.
He's
a
I mean, I
window
like
into
dogs,
your
but-
soft,
Yeah.
soft,
Let me-
soft guy.
Let me ask real quick, as I know we're running out of time, but Indiana Women Forward, that's an organization that we've talked about on the show before. I know you are a member or you're on the board.
Graduate?
Both, yeah.
Both,
Yeah.
okay.
Hoosier
and
Women
Hoosier
we've
Women
talked
Forward.
about veterans running. I want to just ask one last question before we wrap it up about women running for office and why that's important to you.
I advocate for women running for office all the time. It's some of the side efforts I have we do some panels trying to get women to run for office. And so Hoosier Women Forward's a democratic leadership program that gets women ready if they want to run for office or to take those democratic ethos into the workplace with them. And so there are women all over Indiana who are running. Some of them are in Hoosier Women Forward. And I would start to go down the list, but I'd leave somebody out.
Mm-hmm.
So women are running for office. And look, Kevin, we were on a call together last night. There is the landscape is going to severely change when it comes to women's rights this summer. Mm-hmm. And it's going to impact the polls.
Absolutely.
And so, it's just so unfortunate because as a society, we entered the experiment and now we're going to start seeing that evidence of, the fallout of what we chose as a society. And I think ultimately that's going to be, women are going to die. And it's a very, very sad fact of the matter where we're going.
One of the things that I've become really impressed with, and I talk about this on the trail as well, is seeing the work that we've done as a party to get tighter and more organized. And Hoosier Women Forward is a big reason for that. Okay. Another one is the Young Dems, and you're part of that association as well, right?
No, I wasn't, but a lot of wonderful young Dems. And my gosh, they're like the most organized.
They are
I like
as
look at the other
organized as
caucuses.
ever.
I'm like, you need
That's
to
what
go
I'm
talk to
saying.
young Dems.
They are
Isn't it
as
crazy?
organized as ever. It's so impressive.
It makes us so strong as a party because
agree.
of what the Young Dems have done. And that convention being in Indiana, is going to pay off huge for you when you're running statewide, for me when I'm running statewide, because these young Dems are organized,
and
they're
they
smart,
are fired up.
they know each other, and they're willing to go out and fight. And I tell you, between Hoosier Women Forward and the young Dems, I think there's a lot of optimism on my part in the party, because I haven't seen that.
Chairman Schmuel.
I've been doing this for 20 years, and I haven't seen us as well organized as we are right now.
Yeah, and to end on that note, I mean, when I started my party involvement, Chairman Schmuel let me get to work very quickly by making me a deputy chair, and it was of Coalitions and Expansion, and that is to what we're talking about, those different caucus groups, different affinity groups, because, I mean, we all have to organize to win, and so I look forward to seeing these groups throughout the year. If anything, I say running for office is an excuse to get all your friends together.
Yeah. By the way, when you come back up to the region, make sure you give us heads up so we can pull you in the studio, even if it's just stop by and say hi and update us on your campaign.
I appreciate that.
I'm going to be campaigning with you, so I'm going to see you a lot, but I want you to know that you can walk in the studio. Like Mike Andrade does that a lot. He'll just stop by
He just
and say
kind
hi.
of shows
I mean,
He does, but he usually has tequila. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, either brings tequila or somebody playing a ukulele.
I have a general rule: when you walk in, a guy walks in with tequila, they get on the air. I mean,
That's right.
Yeah.
He was one of the very few representatives I actually saw at military legislative day last week. There were like no legislators there. They just came to get the donuts.
Representative Mike is an excellent representative.
He is a hard worker, and he is there.
He is so good.
Before I forget, also get us some campaign stuff so we can put it up in the studio.
Yeah, I'd love to
get us
do
a little
that.
sticker or something.
Oh, that's great. I have some in my purse.
Go.
See, now that's
Out
a
in the green
candidate.
room.
Good candidate. We're going to do it. All right, Mayor, wrap
Seriously,
it up.
Destiny, the
Always
Democratic Party is lucky that you put your name on the ballot, and I want to thank Oliver for doing what it does to help you get on the road, because the two of you as a team, you're going to be great for us. As a party, you're going to be great for the state of Indiana. I'm super excited to be running with you, co-veteran, and two veterans on the ballot. I know Chairman Schmuel is very excited about that. And, I think there's good days ahead for Indiana, and I appreciate you for stepping forward like you are.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's great having you.
Yeah. So anyway, good to see you again. Yeah.
This is the outro.
I'm making
Outro
predictions.
and intro.
I have a feeling that Destiny Scott Wells is going to be Indiana's next Secretary of State. I'm on the record
Love it.
right now.
First since Mayor Joe Hogsett.
That's right.
Love
That's
it.
right. By the way, I think Mayor Joe's doing a great job up in Marion County. I hear people that talk
Down in
about
Marion County.
Down in Marion County. Excuse me.
You've been down there so long, now it's up.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this last night when I was driving home. The same people that beat up on Indianapolis are the same people that beat up on Chicago.
Yep.
And I think Chicago's gorgeous and beautiful, and I love going there, just like I think Indianapolis is gorgeous and beautiful. And I think Mayor Joe, he just held the freaking college football national championship in the capital city.
Yep.
Something's going right when you're hosting the national championship for college football in your city. So for those of you beating up on Mayor Joe, get out of here. He's doing a great job as mayor of Indianapolis.
Basketball tournament?
Yeah.
NCAA,
The entire
the
tournament
whole
was here.
tournament was in Indiana.
I think Mayor Joe's doing a good job.
Good work.
Congratulations on living in a beautiful city, Destiny. And Martinsville's beautiful too.
Thanks.
Of course. But anyway, it's great to see you guys. Kevin, thanks again. By the way, did you know Kevin's number 34 on the top 50? Howie?
I saw that.
I don't even know how that happened. I
think it's
didn't pay Howie either. So
You didn't?
I didn't.
That's awesome, man.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lindsay Maxine, good to see you, sweetie. Thank you.
You used
Notorious
my middle
LNP.
name.
Oh, yeah, I'm using your
on
middle name to
air?
remind you.
Oh, my
to remind
God.
you. Sorry. I call Kevin Chandler, too, by the way.
Sure.
John Vez. I don't know John's middle name yet, but I'm going to learn it.
Hey, Curtis.
Oh, there you go.
JC?
Oh.
JCV?
JCV.
I like that. It's got a ring to it. You should run with that, man. JCV. Anyway.
Start it.
Good job, Bez.
Curtis.
Thanks for the help
Thank you.
today. And to Destiny, thanks for making the trek up to the region, the second largest voting block in Indiana. And you're going to do well here because you're a great candidate. So congratulations and good luck on your race.
I appreciate it. Off to the races.
And thanks to everybody who listens to Lockpod. We do this twice weekly. We'll be back on the air Tuesday. I'm not sure if we have a guest or not, but we will be in touch. And I'll see you Tuesday morning. Take care.